This, live in Los Angeles, is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we are live on iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1 1 hour from now. I think it's the best 15 minutes in American sports radio. Greg Cosell, NFL Meat Sandwich. You're a gambler, you play fantasy football, or you just love the game. He'll give you tidbits, little pieces of information you don't get anywhere else. And Joy Taylor is joining me. The coffee this morning frankly, it's delicious. I woke up at 2:45. I never went back to sleep, so I need a little extra caffeine this morning. Joy, how are you?
I'm great. Isn't that the worst?
I went to bed so early.
What time did you go to bed?
8:20. I mean, come on. I watched the Clippers-Lakers I watched the Clippers-Celtics for a half and then fell asleep. I mean, what's happening to me?
Oh, you missed the good part.
I know. I missed the best part. So tonight is not just a football game. Tonight is why that quarterback for Alabama, Tua, that got hurt, is not going to drop in the draft. He's not going to drop in the draft. And tonight is why. Indianapolis does everything right. Their GM, Chris Ballard, is brilliant. Their coach, Frank Reich, is excellent. Their offensive line is the best young O-line in years in the NFL. It's like the Cowboys 4 years ago. Their defense, they get draft picks, they steal guys, free agent, they're smart. They do everything well. The cap, they develop players. And tonight, I'll take Houston, because Houston has a great quarterback. Their offensive line's a work in progress. They don't actually have a GM. Their head coach, Bill O'Brien, can be good at times, but I'm not sure he understands how clocks work. Situationally, they can be an absolute tire fire, but they have Deshaun Watson. And that is why Tua is not dropping in the draft. You can do virtually everything wrong, but I got Deshaun Watson, and you got Jacoby Brissett. I'll take Deshaun Watson. I think there's going to be a bidding war for Tua. And tonight's why. Because you're going to watch that game tonight. And you know in the AFC, and these teams are in the AFC, the winner tonight takes control of the AFC South. And do you know that since 2003, the last 16 years in the AFC, 4 quarterbacks have gotten to the Super Bowl. Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Big Ben, and 1 year Joe Flacco got ridiculously hot. 4 quarterbacks, but mostly 3 Hall of Famers. And in the next 6 weeks in the NFL, you're going to see guys like Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson and Drew Brees and Tom Brady and Deshaun Watson and Lamar Jackson separate because they're special. And special is what wins right before Thanksgiving up until February. And Indianapolis does everything right. They just don't have the right quarterback. I like Jacoby Brissett. He's fine. They had the right quarterback, and then that quarterback retired. And then they got a guy they signed for 2 years who's very solid. I'm not denying he's a franchise guy, but he's not special. Doesn't have special mobility, doesn't have a special arm. He's good, fine. You know, a lot of Kirk Cousins there. Got to surround him with perfect stuff. But when you watch tonight, I want you to watch very carefully on a team that is brilliantly run, shrewdly developed, does virtually everything right, against a team that does not have a general manager. O-line's a work in progress, and we don't know if Bill O'Brien was given a watch as a kid because he can't figure out clock management. And I'll take Houston. And that leads me to my second story. I read a story this morning. I don't want to call out the network, CBS, but it was a ridiculous story. I don't want to call out the writer. Okay, I won't. That Tua is going to go 32nd in the first round. Oh, that's adorable. No, starting today, I'm going to play a game, and we're going to call it Hua Gets Tua. He ain't going past 6, folks. Hua Gets Tua. And let me explain how this works. In the National Football League today, I am going to list the quarterbacks who lead their division. Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, after tonight, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, who is having an MVP-level year, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, Russell Wilson, and Jimmy Garoppolo. See a trend here? It's not the best O-line, not the best pass rush, not the best running game. No, this is a copycat league. Russell Wilson probably wins the MVP. Lamar Jackson wins it if he doesn't. Kyler Murray is outrageously good and shockingly effective. I'm going to make a prediction. There's going to be a bidding war for Tua. Okay, but because of his injuries, he probably doesn't go 1 to Cincinnati, and he probably doesn't go 3 or 4 to Miami. But never forget this. In 2018, 5 quarterbacks were drafted in the first round. 4 of the 5 teams moved up to get him. In 2017, 3 quarterbacks were taken in the first round. All the teams moved up to get him. In 2016, there were 3 quarterbacks taken. And all 3 teams moved up to get him. And you're going to tell me Tua, who Nick Saban gets misty over, who Trent Dilfer calls the best prospect we've had in years, is going to drop to 32. I've read 3 columns today. Drop. I'm going to go the exact opposite of everybody I've read in the American media. There'll be a bidding war, and whoever has the number 4 or 5 spot, and today that's the Jets. I don't think they'll end up with a 5. They could. I think they'll win a couple games. Whoever has number 5 is going to have a ton of power. If the New York Jets end at number 5, they could call Carolina, they can call the Chargers, they can call any of these teams that have really good players and draft capital and make strong demands. We'll take boom, 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 boom. You give us your first-round pick. But this morning, I went and looked at the NFL draft order, and I counted 11 teams that either urgently need a quarterback or that I think would strongly consider drafting it. Cincinnati, urgent need. Miami at 4, urgent need. Denver at 6, more urgent than they'd acknowledge need. Tampa at 7, they're moving off Jameson. They have drafted a quarterback. Chargers at 11, they're moving to a new stadium. They can't sell tickets. Old, unathletic quarterbacks do not work anymore. Tennessee at 15, really think Ryan Tannehill's the future. Carolina at 16, Kyle Allen has been exposed. He's a nice transitional in-season quarterback. Minnesota at 23. You bring in Tua for a year behind Kirk Cousins. Make sure he's totally healthy, learns the system, and then he spends the rest of his next 6 years handing off to Delvin Cook and throwing to Stephon Diggs. Indianapolis at 26. You think they gave Jacoby Brissett a 2-year deal because he's the future? New Orleans at 29. Well, Drew Brees is 40, and Teddy Bridgewater is going to go on the open market and get a lot of lettuce. And New England at 32. Yes, they're going to draft a quarterback, first or second pick. That's 11 teams. There may be another one, but I gave it thought, 11. And you think Tua's just dropping because he got a leg injury. Not happening. I'll go the exact opposite way. Once again, starting today, our new game, we'll probably do it once a week. Hua gets Tua. This morning, the Jets have the 5th pick, which is incredible leverage in this NFL draft in April. There we go. You know how I am with drafts, Joy. I get zany.
Oh, I was going to say you're a huge draft nerd.
Nerd. Gigantic nerd. Of many nerdy tendencies.
That's like another... That's like me taking chess classes, nerd.
I have mock draft parties. Literally, con over, wear sweaters, have some soup, and do mock draft parties. So that's where we stand. Okay, coming up, listen, and I'm as guilty as anybody. It was always a great space filler. MJ, LeBron, who's better? But this year, something is happening with LeBron. And I think it doesn't elevate him above Michael, but it does create a stamp in NBA history with Michael and LeBron that you will not be able to deny, and it may happen in about 3 to 4 months, and we're seeing it happen now with LeBron. And I'll explain that. Doug Gottlieb, 50 minutes from now. Greg Cosell, NFL Films 40 years, gambler, fantasy football player, must listen, sports, radio, TV. All right, a new report is suggesting that companies are underestimating the damages that can be done if an employee data is stolen and leaked to the wider internet, the dark web. Employee email addresses are a broad entry point into a company's system, and cyber criminals are out there and trying to attain that. It's affecting our lives. Identity theft is a serious issue.